Welcome to the Our Readiness Lens podcast, where we're focused on numbers and driven by results. I'm your host, Sheri Radler, and each week we're going to take a closer look at the practical ways to get your business ready for what's next. From planning for the upcoming quarter to finding the right health insurance for your team. Whether you're small or mid-sized owner looking for advisory support or just want to better understand your numbers, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Our Readiness Lens. And the last few episodes that we've talked about have been about business killers, those external things that can impact your business and take you off at the knees. Our last episode talked about the operational blind spots. And those are those things in your business that just grind you and create friction and slow you down before you even realize that you're slowing yourself down. And today, we're going to expand that conversation and talk about something that addresses those blind spots and directly impacts your world. Your leadership circle, your C-suite roundtable. So somewhere along the way, business ownership got mislabeled as a one-man show because that's really not how it's supposed to be. But the idea is that you woke up one day, you opened your business, and you plugged into the collective and you became the expertise on everything. On HR, on legal, on IT, on accounting, on payroll, on everything. But that's really not the truth. We didn't wake up today and become the experts on everything. The most successful companies in the world don't try to be the experts at everything, and they don't rely on the person sitting in that top seat as being the expert. That person in the top seat, the businesses are designed to survive and withstand immaterial of who is sitting in that seat. So this is the mindset that we want you to make. You're not the hub of everything, and you don't have to be. And honestly, you're best served if you're not. Because you're the one that is going to build this company, and you're going to be the one that builds this table. And the truth is, you don't have to have all the answers. You do need to have the right people on your team in your room for when you do have questions. And for many of you, you already have this table forming. It's just happening holistically, it's happening organically, and you haven't actually put a label and defined it yet. So let's kind of think that through. Think through your week. Did you wander down the hall and sit down in your accountant's office and run through the numbers, talk about the next contract coming up or an engagement? Did you talk to your service lead or your plant manager or someone in the field about what was happening in your scheduling in your field and your operations? Are you planning and talking to your IT group about when we're going to replace equipment or things like that? So if that's happening, that means you're already forming that organic group. You're having these conversations. So it's happening by habit, not by design. So let's think this through and try to formalize it. Let's think through our context. Let's think through our Rolodex. Let's think through our network and see who do we already have. And as we talk through this next section, it's a great time to download our podcast resource because we actually have a table that you can fill out and figure out who you have in these seats that we're going to talk our way through. So who should be at your table? We're going to simplify this, and truthfully, overall, you probably don't have more than 10 people, and that's on the outside. But every business should have access to a core group of roles, some internal, some external, some can be a hybrid. But this could be your leadership role. This is the group when you as a business leader and a business owner have questions, need to come to a decision. This is the group you come to and you bring it to the table because it is their expertise, education, and experience that provides you that backstop of that resiliency of, okay, I don't have to have all the answers. I have the people that I can go to that probably have a lot of them for me. So let's talk about this team. Let's talk about first operations. This is internal. This is what do we do? How do we do it? How do we run the show? This is our COO, our ops lead, our service manager, our plant manager. But they are responsible for our execution, our delivery, and managing our capacity and our timing of bringing our product to market. Our second team is the group that helps us with our revenue generating activities, our sales and our marketing group. This is our pipeline, our pricing, our growth into new territories. This is how we show up to the market. Third person on our team helps us with our people. This is our HR, our cultural lead, our administrators. But this is all about our hiring, our team structures, our job descriptions, our compliance in those areas, and our impact on our team. Next, we have our financial team, the CFO, the accounting, the hybrid, the R accounting group. But this is the group that's helping you run the business from a cash flow, a profitability, a decision support of, is our business model working? Is how we're continuing to plan to run things going to work out properly on our bottom line? This is the group that's going to tell you what was, what is, and what can be in your business. The next group that we have is our legal team. These are the people that keep us out of trouble. This is our business attorney. They're reviewing our contracts, our engagements, making sure that all the documents our clients and our customers are sending to us and wanting us to sign have been reviewed and redlined, and they are in compliance on how we plan to run our business. Next, we have tax. And this is not just a once a year you send them the reports and they fill out your return tax. This is a CPA tax strategist relationship that you are talking throughout the year with and having conversations about changes in your world, how it's going to flow through to your bottom line and impact your taxation. We want to make sure we're working with them on planning and not just on compliance. Next seat we got is insurance. This is our insurance brokers, our risk management, our exposures, our operations. As they change and grow, we want to make sure our coverages and our liability and risks are mitigated and managed on our behalf. And our insurance broker conversations are critical on that. As we come around the corner of the table, we're going to talk to our banking and our capital resources. Our bank resources are lenders because we want to make sure we have those solid relationships for backstop when we need access to capital or funding conversions. And the last seat that I currently have on the table is our IT systems and technology group. Our hardware, our software, and our security online. This is our licenses, our telephones, our tablets, our laptops, our computers. How are we connected to the world? And is our data safe and are we protected? Because the data that we hold within our systems is, definitely at risk if someone can breach it. And if, one of the factoids I always remember reading is that a business that has a data breach, one, you have a responsibility to notify your customers. But second, only about 30% of them survive 2 years after that data breach. So as a small business, that is definitely one of those risks we want to protect against. But when we talk about all these seats, how does that actually work? Well, see, this isn't just supposed to be a list of contacts. These aren't just names in your phone. These are people you talk to. This is a working circle because you don't just meet them when something breaks. You don't just call them when there's a problem. And they don't have such a separation from who you are and what's going that when you do pick up the phone and call them about something that it takes you an hour to catch them up on what your business has been doing since you last talked to them. So you don't want to catch them up on your story to bring them to what the decision of the day is. The key of this working for you is that these are ongoing relationships. These are ongoing conversations so that these people know you and your business well enough that when something happens and you do pick up the phone and you call them, they're already right there thinking right alongside you, trying to plot together and put together the plan and the solution. So let's take this down to real life and bring it down to an example. If your operation shifted and you had a new opportunity, new state, new market, new systems, new product to bring to market. Are you ready? Because if you need to find answers, and we probably do, we don't want to be scrambling to figure out who we call. We want to already have that person in our Rolodex of this is who I call. So I'm going to give you an example of this. We worked for years with an environmental safety and security company, and at this time we have about 400 employees. And they are working for big organizations. Think petroleum companies, liquor manufacturers, production facilities. But critically, what these big companies that are their clients are, they have facilities in multiple states. So when our client got the call and said, hey, we need boots on the ground at XYZ facility, we're shipping people out to wherever that facility is. But that meant we had ongoing conversations with our HR group. Are we hiring in the state? Are we registered in the state? Are there any nuances to working in that state? Hello, California and Connecticut. What do we need to know going into that state? Making sure that our agreements and our hirings are compliant in those states. And a critical place that HR group really was helpful with our client as a small business was that when we did have to deal with an employee separation or something like that, we had an independent neutral party available to us whenever we were going through those scenarios. The next person that we always had on call was our insurance broker. Because when we're walking into those facilities, these project scopes can vary. We're underground. We're dealing with explosives. We are going out over onto the water in ponds and things like that. So we're always talking to the insurance broker, is the coverages we have in place that will cover the scope of the work we're doing for this client. Our IT group was critical. When you got 400 people running around with cell phones, tablets, laptops, and pushing computers and links, having that group on retainer and on the other side of that phone was so imperative of making sure not only we were protected, but if something was lost or misplaced, that they could kill that device, as well as ongoing security access licenses and just keeping us up and running on a daily basis. Legal was huge. We were on a first name basis with that. All these customer contracts, customer engagements you want us to sign, we need someone to read. As we're hiring people and bringing them on, they helped us form those employee contracts and the engagements in which our leadership team was bringing on. Tax group, day-to-day basis, we're talking estimates, we're talking plannings, not only for our client business, but how it would flow to their personal world. And of course, our accounting, we were there. We were a permanent Tuesday, I had my own office on site every Tuesday, as well as a dedicated person on our team that worked with them. But we were in there as, budgets, variances, KPIs, the building, the planning, the numbers. But you know what was really critical and that was magical about this? We were in contact with all of those other groups. Because our client didn't treat all himself as the center of this business. Not all information flowed through him. He built that spider web that we speak of. And he granted all of us the authority of, this is the work I want you to do. Talk to each other to make it happen for me. And because the client empowered us within our roles, we were able to really become a powerful team with him. Because we were all on a first name basis, his tax group could call us with questions. I could pick up the call and call an insurance broker. We could turn around and communicate with each other. And that is critical. You may know all your team, but if your team doesn't know each other, that's the grep. So truthfully, most businesses don't fall short the fact that you don't have resources. You have all these people in your Rolodex. They're all on your phone list. But the fact is you're not connecting to them. You're not having conversations with them. You're waiting until there's a problem. You're trying to figure everything out, wearing the hat of, I gotta be a one-man show. And often you are carrying those decisions longer than you really need to. Because you don't think that whatever you're questioning or you're trying to figure out, you don't think that it's big enough to pick up the phone and call us. You feel that picking up the phone is a bother. And I'm going to tell you, it's really not. One of the scariest things I ever hear when I'm talking to a business owner or a client is the phrase, I didn't know what to do, so I just. Well, that sentence should really end with, I didn't know what to do, so I just picked up the phone and called my attorney, my tax group, my IT group, my banker. So if you're sitting there and that question comes up through your head, I didn't know what to do, so I fill it in, pick up the phone, make a phone call. Your job as a business owner is not to know everything. Your job is to build the table. And if you want to pressure test your business, ask yourself this. Who is sitting at my table? Where do I have an empty seat? Download our resource, and it's got the table right there for you to build yourself out. Because readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about making sure you have access to the resources to help you make them. It's so that you don't have to make these decisions alone. That's the readiness lens. So come back next time and we're going to talk about the resilience playbook. Because as we've talked about in this segment, the truth is it's not a matter of if something's going to go wrong, because that's going to happen. It's a matter of, okay, when this happens, are we prepared and teed up and ready to keep our business steady throughout it? Look forward to next time. Best. Thanks for joining me on the Our Readiness Lens podcast. If you found this episode helpful, connect with me on LinkedIn and follow us on Instagram for more tips and resources. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, be sure to rate the podcast and subscribe so you never miss the next episode. Until next time, keep your numbers clean and your goals in focus. Best.